Okay guys, so we're all up close and personal. Okay, so like I said, I'm doing a raised bed gardening, but you can do row gardening. But either way, one thing that makes it helpful, because seeds are kind of tiny and they are hard to handle. So sometimes companies will come out with called seed tape, and it's usually for vegetables. This one's by Burpee, and I don't know if you can see it. Let me see if I can focus. Actually, maybe it's my light today. I don't even know if you guys can see it. Okay, yeah, there we go. Right there, that little black thing is a seed. Now, these seeds are actually kind of, they're kind of bigger. Some of them are tinier than that, so they're a little harder to maneuver. So the way you typically do it is like like for example, on the mustard seed pack, it tells you it gives you instructions on when to sow. And like, for example, it says, days to emerge, 5 to 10, seed depth 1/4 inch, seed spacing, a group of 3 seeds for every 4 to 6 inches. If you're gonna do it in rows, it's 12 to 18 inches apart. Is this thinning when 3 inches tall, thin to 1 every 4 to 6 inches. So that's typically what you do. You sow a lot of seeds, and as they get taller, you pull them out. Now, why do you do that? Because just because you plant a seed doesn't mean that it's actually going to germinate. So you always plant more than one, because in the event, if you plant 3, at least something should germinate. If you got a good batch of seeds, sometimes stuff just doesn't work. That's just what happens. But when you do seed tape, what it is you may have more than one seed, but you put it in the spacing that for its final, I guess you would say, the final distance. So for example, if you did the mustard spinach, which you just looked at, if you're going to do that seed tape like this, you would space it every 4, 5, or 6 inches. And so this actually does like this, so you can do rows, nice little rows of seeds. Now, not everything comes like this. There's a lot of types of vegetables that don't. And so, but it's fine, because you can make your own, and you can use stuff that you have in your kitchen. So you'll need some water, and you'll need some flour to make a paste. And you'll need like a art brush, or like if you're into cake decorating like I am, I have cake decorating brushes, so I'm going to use one of those. And then, what do you put the seeds on? Well, there's a lot of things. In this climate, maybe you have a lot of toilet paper hanging around. Y'all know what I mean. You can use toilet paper. You can use paper towel. I'm using recycled packing newspaper. So as you can see, it's blank. And so this is what I'm going to use. So, like I said, I'm not doing row gardening. If I was going to do row gardening, basically I would just take large strips of paper. I would find out the final spacing of each plant, and I would put paste in those areas and put the seeds down. But because I'm doing square foot gardening, that's a little bit different. So as I explained this in the last video, square foot gardening is a method of intense planting. And how do you know how many vegetables per space? Well, there's a couple things you can do. Number one, if you type in plantogram, so plant space a space gram, and Williams-Sonoma has plantograms that are kind of like pre-made plants that you can plant, and it'll tell you exactly how much of everything you're supposed to put in a square. And then also, if you go to Pinterest and type in, and I'm pulling it up for you now, square foot gardening, there are some, there are some things that will tell you exactly, there are some guides. So for example, the one I'm looking at right here on Pinterest, and I don't know if you guys can see it very well. Yes, so square foot gardens, and there's a bunch of them, so you may have to keep looking for them. But like, for example, 1 plant per 2 square feet, summer squash, pumpkins, that sort of thing. 1 plant per square foot, peppers, eggplants, tomatoes, broccoli, cauliflower, and cabbage. 2 plants per 1 square foot, cucumbers, celery, basil, potatoes, Swiss chard, and kale. 4 plants per 1 square foot, pole beans, head lettuce, garlic, romaine, asparagus, pea, and corn. And 9 plants per 1 square foot, onions, turnips, spinach, peas, snap peas, parsnips, bush beans. There's also, oops, I think there's also one for 16, which is carrots tend to be 16 per square foot. So there are a lot of guides out there. That's just the one I pulled. And so yes, so for 16 plants per 1 square foot, it's carrots, beets, radishes, leaf lettuce, and green onions. So like scallions, that sort of thing. So I'm going to use those guides and I'm going to show you how I do it. Okay guys, so this is the template for square foot gardening. It is 1 by 1, and as you can see, there are different dots, you know, dots and squares and everything. So it's kind of like matching a pattern. So as you can see, these are the smallest dots, and you notice there's 16 of those. So for plants like carrots, which are 16 per square foot, this is where you would plant the seeds in each of these holes. Then you have bigger holes right here. This is 4. So for the plants that only require 4, you can only put 4 per square. So just pole beans and head lettuce and I think garlic and corn. You would just plant 1 seed in each of these holes. Then you have some things that require 9 plants for 1 square. So you've got like onions, turnips, spinach. So here are the squares are 9. So that's how. Oh, and this is just the center, but I think you get the point. So this is what these guides are. So what I'm going to do for carrots, first off, I'm going to pull this up just a wee bit. So, because I'm just going to plant this entire thing, because this paper does break down once it gets wet. So I'm just going to outline square foot. And since these are carrots, I'm just going to little circles where each of the seeds are supposed to go. Now you can do this directly in the dirt and plant directly in seed. What I do is I put it over the dirt and I use, like, you know, the end of the pencil, just poke holes in it and then put the seeds in. But it's just nice if you could just cut this out, put this down on the dirt, and then just put some vermiculite on top of it. And I'll show you that show you how to do that once we actually get to the point where we're ready to take it outside. So my paper is like falling off. Okay, so to make the paste, I have flour and I've got water. And let me go get my dropper so I can mix the two. Okay, and you know, I have too much flour in there because it's kind of late tonight, and so I'm not going to do all of the stuff I need to get done tonight. Okay, so I just got a little bit in there. So you just want to play with it. You want to make a paste with the water and the okay, and my paintbrush is gone. But you just want to make a paste. There we go. And so you just kind of moosh it all together until you get the consistency. You don't want it to be too runny, but you don't want it to be too chunky, because you are I would say almost do it like a slurry if you're cooking, but I don't know. A little bit thicker than a slurry, actually. Okay. So I think that will be good enough. So now we got like a nice paste going. And so basically I'm just going to take this paste and paint it over the little dots. Okay, so that's pretty much it. Probably should have already had the seeds out, but okay, so I'm gonna put pretty much two to three seeds on each little square. Oh, and I actually, shoot, I think this is drying already. Or just like a teeny pinch, like so. You may need to wet it, especially if you're not. I probably should have wet it as I did each square, each little dot. Okay, so that is how you make seed tape. And so, like I said, so once it dries, I mean, it's going to make a paste, so the seeds are definitely going to stick. And, you know, you just label it, which I'll label it now. And like I said, when I actually go to plant these in the garden, I'm just going to slap that square right down. I'll cover it with some vermiculite or just a really light layer of dirt, and just water it daily. Carrots do take a while to come up. Some of the other things don't, but that's pretty much what it is. So you're going to do that for everything. So, you know, for you go to broccoli, because that's 1 per square. Well, I mean, you can just do a smaller thing. You don't have to take a whole square. But like, for example, you know, the cucumbers, you're gonna do 2 with head lettuce. I don't think I have any head lettuce. I think all I have is leaf lettuce. But the leaf lettuce, you can do, or the spinach. You know, spinach you can do 9. So I'll just do a square of 9 and put 9 plants in it. So that's pretty much all it is. It's pretty easy, and I'm gonna sign off for tonight, but I'm gonna do a bunch of them because, like I said, I've got a lot of things to plant. And then once I get the all the dirt in the bed, I'll just show you how I actually go out and do it. So hopefully I'm making this process easier, and you feel like this is something you can actually go out and do. So if you try it, let me know. Put a link in the comment. I would put a picture in the comment if you have a blog, link to your blog or Facebook or Instagram, because I would love to see what you guys are doing. So I will see you guys in the next video.